Hello and welcome to Entrepreneurs Hub. Thank you so much for choosing UBC as we inspire you. Here to grow your business. On the different episodes, we've been having different stakeholders telling us more. We are here to connect you to different investors, aspiring entrepreneurs out there, lots of stakeholders here to bridge that gap and of course, give you what to expect as far as doing business is concerned in a nation, Uganda. My name is Sandra. Well, for today's particular episode, allow me to introduce to you the Executive Director, Export Promotion Board, that is Mr. Twineo Eli, joining us for the day. Well, the year 2020 has not been easy regarding our exports. A number of sectors have been affected, but here we are, still living by God's grace, and we expect our businesses to boom yet once again. We'll be letting us know on how 2021 will be and the performance as regards to our exports. That particular conversation starting just now. You're most welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, and hello to all the viewers and listeners who may do it online.
Good to have you. Happy New Year. How have you been? I believe it has been a hot seat for you, being that we're just on our toes for the year 2020.
2020 was a year we can always jump, and then we come to 2021, but we can't. 2020 was a year that affected businesses, affected investors, sometimes discouraged investors, discouraged traders. Exports were affected because planes stopped. Literally, you can say planes stopped. So those products that were being exported by air, like flowers, like fruits and vegetables, like fish, and related products, we suffered. Orders were cancelled, but also those products that were going by land and even by rail. You saw what was happening along the pathways, along the highway, coming into the country and going out of the country. There was a problem. And you saw lines at borders. So that one also affected the quantity of the exports that went out of the country.
Well, just for the viewer out there who could be setting eyes on you, maybe for the first time, just letting them know some of the key exports that we have as Uganda.
Let me quickly begin from history. We like telling stories. If we begin from history, you need to know when the rain started hitting you.
It all works for us here.
Yes.
It's about inspiration.
Yes. Before 1990, Uganda used to export very few, a basket of exports, and they were mainly traditional exports, mainly coffee, tea, tobacco, cotton, mainly. And those were the top exports. Those were the main exports, and they were called traditional exports. They were called cash crops. But after, in the 90s, diversification, the government undertook what we call diversification of the economy, diversification of exports. So, and since then up to now, the government has diversified, and we now have the key exports. Now, we still have coffee as a big export, but coffee is no longer the 50%. Coffee used to be more than 50% of our total exports. But now coffee is still important, but no longer that big. Because can you imagine, we even have minerals now. Gold, for example, is one of the key exports as well, bringing in a lot of more than $1 billion US sometimes. But we have also grains, maize, beans. We have also fish, is very, very important for us. We have cocoa, which is important, but we have also manufactured products. We never used to export manufactured products. But now, base metal and products, or what we call iron and steel products, we are getting in excess of more than 100 million US dollars. But then you also have other exports. We are even exporting cosmetics and body lotions produced here. We are exporting vegetable oils and fats, which has been confused. Politicians can always talk. I have seen politicians talk before the campaign and after. They said, the government is exporting our oil. You know what they mean? They are looking at crude oil, which is vegetable oils and fats. And in brackets, normally when you go to the statistics, it says excluding petroleum products. Our companies export vegetable oils and fats. Butu. Now people are saying Butu as petroleum. So I have seen it, but since I don't have the right, of course, to address politicians that way, we can only give facts. And but also I mentioned that also services are becoming important for Uganda. We get a lot of money from remittances. In fact, every year we get more than, now COVID brought problems, but we are getting more than 1.3 billion US dollars in the years before, those years before COVID, the last 2 years before COVID. That's a lot of money, 1.3 billion US dollars. Remittances were equal to the money we get from tourism, which is also a service. But we're also exporting IT-related services. We are exporting education. From 2013, we began exporting more than 50 million US dollars of education. And now, I mean, with COVID, you will forgive me, I have not yet got the figures, but when COVID leaves again, we will go up. Then we are in logistics and transport as a service. We are consultancy services, legal, audit, construction. We have our engineers all over the place doing these services. So we have diversified the exports. We are no longer talking about what I said at the beginning. And now not only are we diversifying, we are adding value. You hear we are talking of cosmetics, we are talking of vegetable oils and fats, we are talking of dairy products in excess of 100 million US dollars in 2019. Including that with the dairy products, we even export a very strong component of a protein called casein, which is a protein of milk we get out of milk. Every year we were getting over 3 million US dollars, exporting it to the USA, exporting it to India and other places. This is used in pharmaceuticals. And I can assure you that I think we can continue to diversify. Never mind the challenges we suffered with COVID. We had targeted that we are going to export in excess of 5 billion US dollars, having exported around 4.1 billion US dollars in 2019. COVID affected us, but we have tried. Despite the challenges, we have exported around 4.3 billion US dollars. So we have added about over around 200 million US dollars more. 200 million US dollars more is not bad, but it's not good because that shows you that without COVID we would have done a lot. Countries that don't export will not survive because you have to get foreign exchange. Instead of begging for it, you have to earn it. So from 1969, the name kept changing. They again changed the act in around 1980s, 1983. Then in 1996, they changed from the Export Promotion Council to Export Promotion Board. The purpose was to make it a board to give it broader mandate, to make sure it does a lot more work. And now Uganda Export Promotion Board does provide trade information, market information. Uganda Export Promotion Board is involved in promotion of exports. We are the organization that organizes and participates and coordinates all expos. You have heard of expos, expositions, which Uganda attends. As Uganda, we are the coordinators. Like even the Expo 2020, which is coming, we are the coordinators. Then we do development of exports, what we call development of exports. And for you to get an export product, you need to develop a product for the export market. So we work, and we through export readiness activities, we do export readiness activities. We work with the SMEs and others to find out what products are required in the market and promote them. But also we provide customized advisory services. Customized advisory services in logistics management, international contracting, in skilling. Because exporting is different from importing, so we skill these people, and it is also different from internal trade, domestic trade. So there is skilling. We also give customized advice service on advanced export management and related, and logistics and export documentation and export processes. The last one is that once we have interacted with the private sector and understood their challenges and problems, sometimes problems, we then write the issues that have been raised by the stakeholders, by the traders, by aggregators, by store managers, by pack houses, by manufacturers, and by exporters themselves. We raise those issues with government. What I mean by government, we take these issues to our minister, and then the minister will handle those she can handle, and then take others up. Every year we organize what we call Export Week. 2020 was harsh, so we didn't organize an Export Week. It was a miss.
As regards to even the 2020 Dubai.
Yeah, yes, even in regards to Expo 2020 Dubai, which was supposed to be 2020, it was pushed by another year. So there has been that challenge. And those were avenues for us to give more information. Those were avenues where we now bring in our minister to listen to all stakeholders, and then she attends to them. We were lucky that 2020, before the COVID attacked us, the pandemic came here, we had organized the 2019 Export Week. We pushed it to the January, between January and Feb. So we had the Export Week of 2019 in 2020, but during January. We started in December to January because we went to different places, to districts, creating awareness, explaining why you need to export, and the minister was around to give very serious responses to the stakeholders, and that was good. Hopefully that we can have another Export Week soon.
Yeah, before the year comes to an end.
Before the year comes to an end. So this is what we do, 5 functions. And these are going to be important, and they remain important anytime. And they remain important anytime. People have been asking that, you see, we hear Manyamajas, we hear rationalization of government. Will Export Promotion Board be there? I said the Export Promotion Board will still be there in whatever form, but Export Promotion Board will still be there. It was created by government, by an act of parliament, because they know the importance of exporting. The government knows the importance of the exporting. So in whatever form, it is the form we are yet to know about exports. I have been assured by our minister, by everybody in government, in finance, in foreign affairs, in agriculture, by everybody. You hear the president talking about it, import substitution, export promotion. It is part of the NDP3. NDP3 gives us 16 action areas which we have to achieve as export promotion, but it had never happened before.
Wow.
Actually, they have now made export promotion, development, export, and the promotion of exports as a development strategy. It is not longer about trade. It's is a development strategy.
To really promote
it is one of those objectives of developing this country.
And are you yet to meet the target? Because 16 is
yes, and now what we have planned is 5 years. Don't give me 1 year. 5 year.
5 year plan.
In 5 years with NDP also, but we think that incrementally every year.
Yes.
We could be adding on around $1 billion. And we had come from 3 to 4. We were going to 5. And we could have gone to 6. So if we try, and I think the target is 10 years. To increase exports is, you look at 10 years, even more. I think between now and 10 years, Uganda will be exporting. I can see exports of goods and services contributing around half of the country's GDP.
Amazing.
Economy. And I'm telling you, I am not a speculator. Those who know me, I know that I'm not a speculator. I have done my simple calculations, simple, and realize if conditions, the way the government has now put a thrust on export promotion.
Away from the pandemic?
Yeah, away from the pandemic. We all the efforts now are to look for markets. I am told even these rationalization and mergers are intended to, these things you have been producing, you have been bringing investors.
Who is interested?
Who are the markets? Where are the markets? Why are you not getting us the markets? Yeah, and of course, government very well knows that these exporters of ours are small, they are SMEs. They cannot afford to do market research, market studies. To look for markets in summary abroad is expensive. So government will get, like other countries do also, even China, even India, even other countries. So you look for markets, and so you get the markets, you promote exporters to take them over.
So at the moment, who are those particular importers that we already have that are, importers of our own exports?
Let me tell you what is beautiful now. Our major exports. And after here, I am giving an interview by Zoom to CNBC, and they are saying that can we also discuss the Africa Continental Free Trade Area?
Yes.
For us, we are already benefiting from African market.
As Uganda.
As Uganda. More than 50%, sometimes coming to 60%, is now beginning to be felt around the continent, but mainly EAC and COMESA. And this is exciting. When I was growing, our exports, those traditional exports I talk about, were only going to Europe. So when you talked of exports, it meant going to Europe. These days, exporting is cross-border. Our major markets are cross-border. You have our markets in DR Congo. DR Congo the other day joined the what? Was accepted to join the EAC. We have Kenya, we have South Sudan, we have Tanzania, we have all the other neighbors, we have Rwanda, we have also Sudan, Khartoum. So these are major markets, but also we still have a major market of EU. We also have the major market of United Arab Emirates. United Arab Emirates is becoming also a big market. We take their fruits and vegetables, food products, we take their fish, we take their minerals. I visited with my team, we are doing a market scoping study. We visited what they call hypermarkets. Hypermarkets are the big supermarkets. We found that Nile perch was the number 2 prominent fish in all those big supermarkets, all those hypermarkets. And you know, number 1 always is salmon. Salmon is one of the most expensive fish in the world. So number 2 was Nile perch. So we want, even during the expo, to promote a lot of fish, including tilapia, as long as we observe halal requirements. So United Arab Emirates is important. We still have China becoming important. I mean, China is a big market. We should all get a piece of the pie. Then we still have markets in India. We still have markets in USA. But another important market that is coming, when I talked of the EU, that was EU with UK. Now we have EU without what? Without UK. We have UK alone also. We also are targeting UK. You heard when our president was there, the prime minister was telling him that, Mr. President, you are in future you find your cow's meat on our tables. You see, so we want to have our cow's meat on the tables of UK. We want that in summer let them have food, because we see we have cultural history. We have language history, so they should be consuming much of our products and food products, fruits and vegetables, hot pepper, meat, milk, cocoa, coffee, tea. All these products should be going there. Meanwhile, we are adding value to them. Meanwhile, we are exporting manufactured products to the region. So, to me, these are big markets and they're important for us.
Wow. Well, I will take you back regarding the effects of the pandemic. And of course, so many sectors registered a loss. And you talked about the remittances earlier on, with how they were shooting up in terms of performance for the economy. But early last month, there was a drop regarding us not performing with the remittances and the services. Of course, you know, the labor export market has been affected. We are no longer exporting those particular services. Just for the viewer out there, more details on how shaken we are as a nation.
And you know, we first talked about COVID on UBC. I think with Ivan, and Sandra, but we lighted it off, or we brushed it off, said that it will remain in China. And by March, it was here, and planes stopped. Emirates and others said we are no longer going to these different places. Eventually, our government, rightly so, for a disease we didn't know, they said no, let's first understand it. If your visitors don't come in, if you are Ugandans, stay where you are. So the market for exports was affected. The first ones to be affected immediately were those which go by air, fruits and vegetables, flowers, cut flowers, fish. At one time, fish, I think a kilo of fish, I think export went to like over $2 or something, maybe to the States or something. So it became so expensive. So these were affected. But also, even manufactured exports were affected, because as you know, some of the exports we take out, we import raw materials. That's why the president is promoting import substitution. So raw materials which were already in transit in the seas, wherever, it was hard for them to reach here. And you used to see the lines at the borders. But also the exports taken by land were also affected in the interim. In fact, we had a challenge from there. After March, we picked end of June, July. That's when we picked up. So the speed at which we were moving exports, even those by land to Mombasa. Maybe tea, maybe coffee was affected. We were lucky that during that pandemic, we were competing with India over coffee, and we ended up being a price organized. Our price became more better for Italians. Italians consumed a lot of our coffee. As you realize, our coffee exports increased. Again, if you check the figures, our coffee exports increased. So between March and June, we had a challenge. We had a challenge, which was that exports went down. In one quarter. We lost over 200 million of exports, and then we picked towards the end of the year. That's why you see in December that we towards December we got to over 1.5 billion Uganda, not billion. Yes, Uganda shillings. In Uganda shillings, so we gained more from even the previous month. Towards the end, exports increased because then the airlines had come back. People are allowed some movement. Please remember, some of the exports, they go with what we call the roll bed of an airline. They go with the luggage of passengers. So even some exporters, small exporters, are on the plane when their luggage is cargo, and that was also happening. So exports towards the end came up. Like I told you, we last year we got 2019 we got 4.1 billion US dollars, but for 2020 we got 4.28, you can say around 4.3 billion US dollars. So we gained something small, around 200 million US dollars, but we had projected to get over 1 billion. So that was the story of exports. Now we have informal cross-border trade, which you know about, you guys. Informal cross-border is so important. These are the border. This is where you jump to. You are in Busia, Kenya, and Busia, Uganda. So you cross and sell things, and you come back, pick like that. That is cross-border trade. It was affected because they stopped movement of what? They stopped movement of people. And when the movement of people was stopped, cross-border relies more on people crossing with their goods and coming back. So that was also affected. I don't support more informal trade. I support formal trade, but I have to note that that was also happening, and it was bringing money to Ugandans. In a way, it was bringing money to the economy, and that was also affected. So generally, that was the challenge that we got. Yeah.
Well, for the exporters that we already have in Uganda, do they comply with the export promotion board regulations or something for the entrepreneur out there to also get to know and borrow a leaf on how to improve?
First of all, let me invite all traders, all producers can form themselves in organized producer groups. Once this COVID has gone down, it will be dealt with. We got HIV/AIDS, and it was too much at the beginning, but it is now being addressed. Uganda has had the capacity to contain a challenge like HIV/AIDS. So even COVID, and now that we have got several vaccines and several drugs, it will be contained. Once it has been contained, I want to encourage exporters, to the Ugandans, producers, traders, that the most lucrative business is what? Is exporting. The most lucrative business is exporting. and that exporting is no longer to get worried that you have to export things to the EU, because exporting now can be cross-border. You can sell your products in South Sudan, you can sell your products just cross the border. You go to DR Congo, just cross the border. You can sell your products in Kenya, you can sell your products in Tanzania, you can sell your products in Rwanda. And you have heard now, DR Congo has been allowed to join the EAC, Umukago wa East Africa, and we are also bringing in Somalia. So the EAC is expanding, and this is good. So, and this is a market of brothers and sisters, because we have cultural history. We have what sometimes we call the psychic distance. Psychic distance meaning that you have this feeling that you are not exporting when you are crossing Busia, going to Busia, Kenya, from Busia, Uganda. But indeed you are doing what? You are exporting. Exporting means products are crossing international borders. So once COVID has been tamed a bit, we are rolling out a serious campaign to encourage people to export. We are already undertaking what we call export readiness assessment activities, whereby we evaluate SMEs and promote them and support them to export.
Well, you're talking about the available markets and encouraging all the traders to get on board. Yes. What does it take for one to be a regional exporter, if I may put it that way?
You see, to be an exporter, Sandra, even tomorrow, if you want, you can come and we discuss how you can export, and you can export services, and you can export products. So we can talk about how you can export your products or your services once this show has ended. I'll arrange for you so that I get you and my technical staff to tell you how to do it. You don't need any special qualifications. You don't need A-level equivalent, as they say when you are standing for a member of parliament. You don't need to speak English. You don't need to be certain height. You need to understand what it is and have some written.
And the new driving license.
The new driving license, that is, we need to discuss. I want to look at it. And I think the most important thing is that, at least in a way, part of the money is going to remain with us. Yes. We are tired of exporting everything, exporting money. We need to earn money but not export money. So once you have your new driving license, which will be border readable, then we can talk about it. You need some little money, and at times you can do it with your friends, and we help you to identify the products you can export. You can even grow cabbages and export them, grow avocado and export it, grow hot pepper and export it, but also buy things from some place in town which have not been manufactured by you and export them. So exporting is trading across borders. It is not that somebody has to have certain characteristics. That an exporter, as an individual or a company, has certain peculiar characteristics. Our role and going forward, and I'm not talking about 5 years, I'm saying the next 10 years, is we want to create exporters and create exports. Create exporters and create more exports. And diversify exports. There are new exports that will be coming that people had never seen, which are new exports that people never knew about, and we want to do that. So the people should not think that it is unique. That people who export are unique human beings, or they are aliens.
The entrepreneurs think it's too hard,
or they are extraterrestrials,
to benefit from export promotions.
No, because the challenge is been, and I can understand that we are a developing country, the budget is small, that reaching most Ugandans has been a very difficult thing, because you see, we are only, our office is in Kampala, and we had no financial capacity to be in many places, but we have agreed in our new plan for the next 5 years, even 10 years, that we should open regional offices, 12 regional offices, at least outside Kampala, whereby we can reach people, but we shall also be vibrant on the net, on website and all other platforms, and we will be reached in that kind of way, and we will be organizing again regional, because if not district, regional meetings. But once we set up regional offices, these regional offices, they are all, and we are calling them trade information offices. They will be going to train people. They will be linking exporters, potential exporters with buyers. And we are doing two things. We link you to exporters. Some of the exporters are based here, but also we link you to foreign buyers. Foreign buyers are based abroad. So there are two ways that we can link you to the markets. One, to link you to an exporter who is based here, or link you to a foreign buyer who is based abroad. And we already started this since 2018 in our small way, but we are going to expand. And I can see all the positive efforts. When I see it in NDP3, when I see it in the President's Manifesto, because once you see it in the President's Manifesto, and so the new government which is coming also has already emphasized export promotion. Even in the NM Manifesto, they have put that they should strengthen Export Promotion Board, written in the manifesto. I think this is the first time where they're saying strengthen Export Promotion Board, because we need markets. So they find markets because Ugandans need markets. We have produced a lot, efforts of OWC, efforts of NADS, efforts of MAIF, efforts of Ministry for Industry, which is our Ministry of Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, have yielded a lot of production. So where are the markets? And this is the answer we need to give to the people. And this is the answer we are discussing with the Minister of Finance. We need to be able to look for the markets. Go and tell your members of parliament that, you see, if you want markets and to get foreign exchange, you need to support export promotion. You need to support the Minister of Trade and Industry. Our Minister, Honorable Maria Chambadi, has done a lot of work. You have seen her even during COVID. You have seen her all this time. She went everywhere with all the risks of exposure and the rest. So the Minister of Trade has been working, and our minister has been working to promote trade, to promote entrepreneurs, to promote imports. To promote retail trade, to promote export trade. They have been working, and we need to continue working. That's why I tell your members of parliament and Minister of Finance that they need support, search for markets, and it is costly.
Well, before we let you go, like you put it, way forward, moving forward 10 years from now, maybe for the entrepreneur out there or for different stakeholders on how they need to be positive, that is for sure, as regarding 2021 and the years ahead, to precipitate on how to precipitate their businesses. And away from the cameras that we shared, and you looked at what is going on in the different markets, especially when you look at the fresh fruits. Say, for example, you talked about the pineapples. There is lack of market because most of them were being exported. Maybe just a word of encouragement to those.
COVID came, but hope is not lost. All entrepreneurs need to know COVID came, but hope is not lost. And they should know that the export market is a promising market. And they should know that the African Continental Free Trade Area brings us closer to everybody. There are things we will buy from the other countries. There are things they will buy from us. So the markets are going to expand. And what I encourage people outside there, producers, farmers, please associate. Make yourselves into producer groups. Because government, it will be difficult for government to reach everybody. But also we encourage you to reach your district production officers and your district cooperative officers, your district what we call commercial officers, if you have any question, you can ask them. But once you ask them, they will relay that information to us and we will answer it. But like I told you, we are going to be aggressive by reaching out to producers in different places of Uganda. And we, inshallah, hopefully that we can get that budget that enables to reach people and tell them where markets are. And we will go to the market with you. We'll go to the market with you, and once you have got the market, once you have done at least 3 orders, 1, 2, 3 orders, then we know now you know what you are doing. Then we can keep following you. We have a new approach now. Anyone who comes and they ask me for a letter of recommendation that they want to begin exporting, we require them to give us a quarterly report of their performance. So we are following up closely with our exporters, those who have been exporting, even the new ones. So quarterly, we want to know what you are doing. We share this report with the Ministry of Trade. We share this report with the Ministry of Agriculture. We share this report with the Ministry of Finance, which funds all of us. So this is important that we are going up, and I've told you this export readiness activities, coming to know what you are doing and whether you are ready to export, but also linking producers to markets. Linking producers directly to buyers, not even markets, directly to buyers is going to be important. Some of the producers have been indirect exporters. They have been going to middlemen. Some of them don't know even their products end up in foreign markets. We want now they export directly. And since you have had the efforts of government, the efforts of government is that investment promotion and export promotion come together and work together. So you bring an investor who is going to promote for export. So you bring this investor who comes knowing that they are going to produce for export, because exports are zero rated for taxes. In other words, when you are crossing borders to export, the customs URA does not charge you taxes. Yet when you are importing, you pay what we call import duties. So that is very important, that the government is out to promote exports by not even charging you taxes when you are crossing the border. So it is profitable to engage in export. And sometimes we have what we call high value products that you don't need to have square miles to do them. You just have a few of your acres and you make money. Yeah.
Well, how does Uganda benefit from export labor, for example, the human resource? Say the teachers, we have the officers, the clerks, and how can someone tap into this particular money?
First of all, let me say what I have seen and which we will be working on is that other countries have approaches and which we are beginning to work on with my people. There are certain gateways like LinkedIn, there are certain platforms like Development Gateway which have jobs for professionals. So we want to link into those ones so that we get jobs for professionals. But also there are jobs for the middle level. And most of those jobs, people are working in different countries. Some have gone even through labor exports, but there are some even who went there before on their own. And part of the remittances I was talking about, the money we get called remittances, this money comes from our people who are living what? Who are working abroad. And they have been paying your school fees here. They have been buying you land. They have been building you houses. They have been looking after their parents. So this money comes in. Specifically for the issues of labor exports, they are being handled by the ministry responsible for labor. But as we widen our scope, we will be understanding it. We will be having our MOUs and relationship with the Ministry of Labor, because we are the only specialized agency of government that can train people on how to export anything, goods or services. And therefore we will be giving specialized training to the Association of Labor Exporters, but also to others on how to export labor and ethically, and export labor ethically. Otherwise, we know that we are getting money, part of the money as remittances comes through that channel.
Well, it's been a pleasure having your company, and for the viewer out there, I believe they have really had a lot that you've shared with them. Unless you have something that is really burning, something that is scratching you that you would want to share with the Ugandan who is watching.
That one of scratching me is too much, but maybe something burning is that we have to embrace the market economy. We have to have something to sell in a market, a good or service. Any household, any family that will not have anything to sell in the market will in the long run perish economically, financially. We cannot depend on arms. We cannot depend on handouts. We cannot depend on begging for us to get foreign exchange. We need to make foreign exchange. And one of the softer ways of getting foreign exchange is to export, is to trade, is to be in the market. And we are going to spearhead this campaign, a very serious campaign. The same campaign that was used against the pandemic, we are going to spearhead this campaign against the pandemic of not selling things in the market, the pandemic of not being in organized markets, because economies that have succeeded, that have advanced, and those developed are all trading in the market. I want you to produce what you cannot consume, and I buy it and I consume it, and I produce what I cannot consume, and you buy it, so that we get an exchange and you make money. How are you going to make money if you are not trading anything in the market? How are you going to make money? That you get money from your sister, brother, or uncle, or father? You are lucky. Thank you.
My name is Sandra, and I was joined by Mr. Twineo Eli, Executive Director for Uganda Export Promotion. Keep it UBC.